I think AI is really good at amplifying that and making it maybe much faster and streamlining it and allowing for the artist to maybe create more content, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't see AI really being able to touch the human soul in a way that moves you.
The way that I think about streaming is, and this is an unpopular opinion,
Okay.
but not everybody's meant to monetize music. Okay. I don't think there are 9 million artists on Chartmetric. I don't think there are 9 million artists who are good enough to generate revenue.
I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with that point of view.
Right. And so when there's this conversation of, well, we artists don't get paid, it's like, I mean, in what era would you ever have gotten paid? Because if this was 20 years ago prior to streaming, no one's signing you. The doors are very closed.
I agree.
There was way more opportunity.
I agree with that.
Mhm.
Where I perhaps don't agree as much is if you have a track that goes viral
Yeah.
and you're not seeing any revenue coming in, depending on your deal and all these things. And
That's and so and this isn't me maybe this is a little bit of me saying, hey, yo, it's not all Spotify's fault. They pay out 70% of the revenue. And I'm not saying you are, but I'm saying where the issues fall is when an artist has been signed to a label, and especially if they sign to a label pre-streaming and the deal hasn't been rectified or corrected, which I would hope is rare these days, it's going to look pretty ugly for you in terms of the streaming, you know? We could name countless of artists that have had that issue.
And look, I'm not blaming Spotify for anything. I think I'm just stating the facts, right? And the facts are that in the music industry, there are layers that extract value from the artist, which they provide advances in marketing support and all other things for that extraction.
Yes.
Here, AI is not providing anything in return.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
So like, you know, to bring it back to the AI piece, it's like, okay, we're at this inflection point where we can go this way or we can go that way. And, you know, the realities will be very different.
Yeah. Do you think it is possible? So you don't think it's possible that AI can replace artists? Because one of the things here that our cinematographer, he brought up, he said, I could potentially see a world where I don't need the middle person, the artist anymore, because AI is going to be so advanced that it's going to be able to understand. It's going to know my data points, my data sets of like what I like, what I don't like, my story, and then it's going to create music by just me prompting it. And it's going to sound like Prince or Elvis Presley or Michael Jackson or whoever it may be. Like there's a world that could happen as well too, which is interesting. It's just like, can you market that? Can you brand that?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. All right, everybody, we're going to take a little break. Because if you're listening and thinking, fuck, I could really use some guidance right now, and you're serious about building your career in the music industry, I'm now offering private strategy sessions. These are fully personalized, just you and me tackling whatever you need in your career. With over 16 years of experience working with artists, managers, and brands, I can help you map out your next moves. Now, whether that's structuring your team, scaling your brand, navigating the industry, even figuring out what steps to take, whether to go to a distributor or to a record label and figuring out what are the best deal points, I can help you with your career with where you're at. You can now book a one-on-one with me through my Calendly, and you can find the link in the description. Now let's get back to the pod.
You know, it's very difficult. And we don't know any of this, right? But it's very difficult for me to imagine anyone connecting deeply to music that doesn't have a face or a story or a personality.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? Like all of my favorite artists I connect with at like a deeper human level because of they're telling me a story through their music or, you know, they make me feel something.
Yes.
I think AI is really good at amplifying that and making it maybe much faster and streamlining it and allowing for the artist to maybe create more content, right?
Yeah.
But I just don't see AI really being able to touch the human soul in a way that moves you.
Yeah.
It can fill in the space and like, you know, if you're working on your pod or like going out for a run or keeping you company, right? Like that's meditating. That's a great use for AI music, but I just don't see it becoming something else. Although It is very interesting to see what happened with that AI rock band that
Yes,
went viral.
Velvet. Well, that's what I think of immediately.
Yeah.
But go on. What's your thought on that?
My thought on that is that people didn't realize that it was AI, and you can go viral off of one track. Like, we've seen it on TikTok all the time.
I think the thing that made it go viral was that it was pretty much in your face. The imagery was all you could tell that it was prompted by AI.
Mhm.
Like the photos of the band, like the press shots and all that stuff, it looked completely like AI. But when you heard the music, you were like, this is pretty damn good. And that's where it got everybody kind of messed up.
Yeah. But then let's go deeper, right? How did it get so good?
Right.
Wait,
Well,
where did it learn from?
right.
Is the people or bands or training data that they use getting compensated for it?
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
We don't know, right? Like, most likely not.
Yeah.
So that poses a lot of issues.
Let's call it what it is.
Yeah, so it's like, yeah, okay, let's say it does go viral and it does make money and then it's just computer generated. What does that mean for the music industry?
But isn't that a counter to the point of that, this potentially is going to be an artist, quote unquote, that people are going to accept? Like, this is actually making good music. The only issue, I mean, it's pretty good marketing. At the end of the day, on I think it's got on Spotify 1.4 million monthly listeners. And the fact that I don't have the name in front of me right now is killing me, but it's Velvet something.
Sundown.
Velvet Sundown. Velvet
yes.
Sundown. Thank you. Yeah, and it's got 1.4 million monthly streams. Now
but but we're comparing one viral moment to Prince.
Well, to your point.
Do you know what I mean?
To your point.
Yeah.
I listened to the record. I went on Instagram. I saw that there was nothing really there. I was over it. Do you know what I mean? But that's our generation. I don't know about this younger generation. I would think so, maybe, because there's that human connection. We connect to stories, to like you said. And artists, I will always say this: artists always have the ability to make us feel and say things that we don't know how to quite communicate better than anybody else, right? And they make us feel in a very real way. And especially when you hear more about their story and you see where they come from and what they're talking about in their interviews or whatever it may be, there's a deeper level of connection that can come from a song as well. But it's a little harder to imagine a world where there's a deeper level of connection with that AI.
It is very interesting though, because I look at my kids, because you said our generation, and I look at my kids. My kids are 7 and 3. So my 7-year-old,
how are they interacting?
Is very much immersed in the world of Roblox and Minecraft and gaming. His experience with music is much different than mine, in the sense that he is interacting with music as opposed to being a passive listener. And I think we've seen sort of the evolution of that with our generation, where we used to be passive listeners.
Yeah.
And then that started changing, right? With the rise of social media, you had Vine, and then you had Musical.ly, and then you had TikTok, which allowed for people to interact with music in different ways, storytelling, and now you're creating with the music. I think AI is now the next evolution, where you're going to be creating your own music. But that doesn't take away from good artists.
No.
You know what I mean? It's just
Not
this thing. So that's where I think there's going to be this rise of music creation that is for personal use and for your own enjoyment, that has nothing to do with the experience of seeing somebody that can actually tell a story through music that moves you.
Yeah, and I think that concert, going to see a show, that in real life experience is going to become way more valuable in the future. That's how I look at it, because you're not going to have, already in today's day and age, there's great performers everywhere, but I feel like with so much music and so much noise, the performance part of it is going to have to really stand out. You got to really have to hone your craft.
Yeah.
And those people are going to win in the long run, in my opinion.
I agree. Look, everyone talks about we don't have any superstars. There's nobody breaking through, like we go back to the old tried and true, and it's way more difficult to kind of reach that pinnacle that, was a lot more attainable 10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's going to become harder and harder. And I was watching your conversation with Mag, where he was talking about niche markets and how that is going to be the future of music. And I wholeheartedly agree with.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. I think it's not going to be about the one track or the one album that sells 10 million records. It's going to be like smaller but more hits, with your super fans that are going to support you through your journey.
I agree. I mean, just because music is so democratized. I mean, the internet's just completely changed everything. Right?
Yes.
So yeah, absolutely. Even this podcast wouldn't exist if I didn't go incredibly niche.
Yeah.
But I'm able to monetize off of this because there's an audience for it.
Yeah.
It might not be a large audience, but I'm going to go super deep to be able to bring value to an audience that.
And that's what I'm talking about, right? Like, because you have a point of view. And going back to what I was saying with AI doesn't have a point of view. It needs somebody to tell it what the point of view is in order for it to create.
I guess some people out there have the argument to say that, like, well, doesn't Prince Kanye West or something? I listen to Kanye. I'm inspired by Kanye. I start to produce music and it sounds like Kanye. I start to make revenue like, in production. I start selling my production, getting fees and advances or whatever it may be. But Kanye doesn't see the revenue from that. Only I do. Yeah. That's like an argument I've heard, right?
Yeah.
Have you heard that argument?
Yeah, of course. And I think logically it's easy to follow.
Yeah.
But when we're talking about technology, you are able to essentially have the ability to give attribution where attribution is due. And there should be compensation for it because you can. Just because humans can't do it doesn't mean you shouldn't do it when technology's around. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. So I think, you can see it both ways. What is the right way? I obviously have my opinion, but there's others that feel differently. And I think it's really up to the industry and the community of artists to make up their mind of like what they're comfortable with. But what I do see is that they're not being educated. There's no real, effort from labels, publishers to provide information of what it means to use certain tools that aren't licensed to the future of your music and your ability to monetize.
Yeah, the majors are starting to have those conversations with them. They've talked about that publicly now, trying to figure out what that looks like, right? So their artists can get, so the labels can monetize.
And look, everybody has their different incentives, right? I think music really shifted when labels went public because now they have to go and show growth quarter over quarter and make sure that you're keeping your shareholders happy.
I'm happy you said that and not me because people would think that I hate major labels, but that's just the reality.
It's just a fact.
It's just a fact. That's all it is. Yeah.
Yeah. It's no longer about the long game. It's about short-term gains. And I think in this, paradigm, short-term gains could be really catastrophic for long-term, being able to monetize.